See, as far as the fissures that have existed or have now come out in the open in all these parties, one of the things, as I told, the Congress is suffering from the fact that it does not have a consolidated base, and we saw the impact of this in the three states, where despite the outreach that Rahul Gandhi made to the OBCs, he could not win their hearts, because there was no kind of commitment that was visible that they would be able to do something because there is something that was missing. That despite him talking about OBC, the OBCs did not come behind the Congress. Clearly, that is where they lose out because the upper caste somehow seem to be rallying behind the BJP, and that gives it the edge in terms of finishing the election. So that is where the Congress, despite making all these noises about the caste and the caste outreach and the caste census, somehow is not able to show its sincerity, and that we saw in these three elections. Now, what will be the impact of this in Karnataka? That could be something which will be very interesting, and I don't think so that it will be very nice for the Congress because this kind of a divide, when it comes out in the open, the government certainly feels the jitters.
Absolutely. Professor Puranik, the thing is that when a government speaks in a folk tongue, particularly on very serious issues, there have been several things, of course, Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. DK Shivakumar have had differences of opinion even about, appointing people to the corporations, MLAs, etc., and they've given different statements. Fine, it happens. I will take it as democracy in the Congress party. But this particular issue, because it concerns the caste, don't you think that it is sending out a very, very poor image of the party amongst the people?
Sudha, I agree with you. And also, we all know that caste is a very, big source or important kind of, support base for all political parties, whether it is a backward class or upper caste or whatever it is. But the very fact that Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge has made a kind of straight attack on DK Shivakumar in the parliament, which goes on record, it cannot be erased. He cannot say that, I just said on the spur of the moment. It was a kind of a feeling that he had in himself. And probably, the Mr. Modi, the spokesperson who questioned that to Mr. Kharge, he must have provoked it also. So it is possible. But it is a fact that DK Shivakumar, I have a strong evidence to show that he has agreed with the Swamiji saying that totally we will oppose the report. That's it. Because his argument is that it is not scientific and it has not been approved by the secretary or signature and etc. And also other issues where his own party, Shiv Shankarappa and others of Lingayat community and some other also, they are also opposing. So Mr. DK Shivakumar is not an ordinary person. He is also a tough guy. He would have been chief minister had he been, given the chance by central government, the high command. But that apart. Now, what I'm saying is, DK Shivakumar is going to stand by what he has said about the report. I don't think he will retrace. Now that Mr. Kharge has told him that he also joins the upper caste gang, he will definitely say, my caste, my community is more important to me, which he has also said. And I'm just repeating what he has said. So therefore, all is not well in the Congress. My friend, Mr. Nizam Foujdar may say that, it's a statement or a position of some people. He is not some people. Shivakumar is a power center. And that, I think, is a very serious issue, which you mentioned that the state Congress should worry about. And after the debacle in the three states in the Hindi belt, perhaps, Congress has to rethink, why this kind of division.
And, very well said, Professor. And I think caste census has to do with the people of the state, people of this country. It's not the fiefdom of politicians. They owe it to the people. I need to know that what is it. I mean, it's not a jagirdar ki, aap jagir nahi hai kisi ki. So I want to ask Mr. Nizam Foujdar that Mr. Nizam Foujdar, with the thing is that this seems to be a millstone around the Congress party's neck, more than the Congress party around the government's neck. There is a difference between the party and the government, as we all know. I am asking you, with Mr. Hegde's been given an extension, then suddenly we hear no, he is going to stand for elections. Then we hear, oh, are there signatures or not of Anbu Kumar, so on and so forth. I want to ask you that now that Kharge ji has said very clearly ki bas isko lao, and even under duress, Mr. Shivakumar, even in that bite, he says Well, no one came to my house. So, you see, Mr. Shivakumar also has a very strong voice, like the professor has said. When do you propose to bring out the caste census, Mr. Foujdar? The people of Karnataka would be very, very interested in knowing that.
We have asked for 30 days for finalization and creating the new docket by the Mr. Hegde. Now the question again I'm asking is very simple. Congress party has promised and we will stand by the promise and we will definitely release this caste survey. There's no doubt about it. Whatever does the BJP try to do and play the divisive politics, we will stand by and we will make sure we will release the caste survey. But let me ask a simple question to the opposition and the central government. इतना डर क्यों लगता है? What is that stops? What stops you from giving justice to the people who are bad? What is that?
I've lost his audio. Unmute yourself, Nizam. Mr. Foujdar, if you can unmute yourself, sir. He can't hear me. He can't hear me. Vijay, I want to let's fix his audio and then I'll go to him. Vijay, I want to ask you that it is also because during the elections we saw that the Vocaligas did not go to their traditional kind of go-to party, that being the JDS, and they came to the Congress in hordes. Do you think this is also a very clever tactic that you keep the Vocaliga, I support the Vocaliga debate alive in people's minds? Vijay Grover.
Well, see, as far as I were to talk of the polarization of the two major parties. The Vocaligas this time around ride with the Congress to a large extent, whereas the Lingayats were with the BJP to some extent. But they are with Yediyurappa and Vijayendra solidly. That I foresee as far as 2024 is concerned, and that should not be a thing. But clearly, one thing that we need to understand, while so much debate is happening on the caste census, so much of discussions happening, it was, as you very rightly said, supposed to benefit the people of the state. And I don't see that this report, even if it's tabled in the next 30 days, making any impact on the lives of the people. Because one thing we are very sure that apart from the political parties,
Vijay, now your audio has gone. No, seems to be some problem. Professor Puranik, I want to ask you what I was asking Vijay Grover, that do you think keeping the Vocaliga debate alive is in more ways than one a very clever tactic for electoral politics by the Congress party, because the Vocaligas almost abandoned the JDS and went to the Congress and voted en masse?
Yeah, Vocaligas definitely have stood by Congress party, and also they are fully behind DK Shivakumar. Though Mr. Kumaraswamy says that by joining BJP, I will see that the Vocaligas come back. These are all electoral games. But the coalition of whatever the interest that take place, that is purely based on the caste considerations. That's the whatever the rule, the thumb rule of electoral politics. So for 2024 elections, if Mr. DK Shivakumar takes a stand in favor of the Vocaliga community, not per se, but also to say that the particular report of Kantaraj committee is not scientific and there are defects in it, and that has to be rectified, etc., etc. I think the report may be made public before 2024 elections, which is going to be very risky for Congress. But that report will not be implemented because till 2024 elections, they want to know where they stand. And that particular question is, I think is a very bigger issue that the Congress party has to take care of. Now, after the debacle in the north and in the belt, I think the south, if it lets down Congress, it will be a big setback. So therefore, in the present context, Mr. DK Shivakumar has taken a kind of stand which is a realistic. I would say as a politician, as a tactician.
No, but not as the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Professor. I don't agree, but I have 2 minutes left and I'm going to Nizam, whose audio I had lost earlier, like I lost Vijay's also in between. I'll get it checked, but Nizam, go on. I have 2 minutes.
Sudha, very simple question. हमारा जो our promises will definitely be delivered. We will release the caste survey. But the question to the BJP and everybody is that what stops you doing? Why are you not taking that step? और एक ब्राह्मण मिनिस्टर ठहर के कहते हैं कि आप लोगों में क्षमता नहीं है. Why are you so sadistic in that nature? Why? Mr. Joshi could be more humble. He comes from a very high upper caste. Why is he not humble enough to say, यार मुझे जितना मिलता है मेरे साथ के लोगों को भी इतना मिलना चाहिए. इनमें इतनी दरिया दिली क्यों नहीं है कि ये कहते कि let us do it and give proper justice to everybody. Why is that BJP constantly says that we are not interested in social
All
justice?
right,
The
I've
BJP has
completely,
to answer, Mr.
yeah.
Modi has to answer, everybody within
I've
BJP has to
completely run
answer
out
this.
of time, but निज़ाम फौजदार कहाँ से पॉलिटिशियन बन गए आप? आपको तो शायर होना चाहिए. Thank you so much, Vijay Grover. Thank you, Professor Puranik, Nizam Foujdar. As always, such a pleasure speaking with all of you. Up next, a special documentary on the Maratha community struggle for inclusion in the OBC list.